Today we are going to make the pilgrimage to what is essentially the Porsche air-cooled Mecca. First things first, let's get this car started. I'm gonna do my best to voice over this whole thing. Let's see how I do. Okay, now we gotta move this Honda EG hatch out of the way because it's blocking the car. This car does not belong to me. Look at the miles, by the way. 39,000 miles on this EG hatch. It belongs to the homie and YouTuber Tommy F. Yeah. Cool, put the e-brake down, reverse it into the street, leave it in the middle of the road because it's all good. And we are good to go. It is now clear of the Porsche. Let's get back to it. Look at that back end. Oh my God. Okay, and before we go, we got to give the good boy a treat, of course. This dog always has a problem trying to pinpoint whatever's in front of him. I guess his nose is too big. Okay, let's put the seatbelt on. Ignore the horn, please. I will talk about that in just a second. And put the e-brake down, get this thing in reverse. That is a stock shifter, very nice. Look at that PCCM radio in the middle. And reversing this thing out the garage is always a little bit harrowing because the back end of the C2S is a wide body, so it's wider than the front. So you always gotta make sure the back end actually clears. Now we can get out of this hill and go down the neighborhood and get on our way. I think I probably should have edited those clips a little bit longer because dang, that was a little bit fast paced. But anyway, we shall continue. So as soon as I got out of the neighborhood, I realized that the gas light went on. I was completely out of gas. So it's time to pull into the Chevron and load up and spend a good $100. I cannot believe it. What is up with the gas prices these days? And these 911s have a really cool gas door release. You just pull this little knob on the dash. And out the car I go to give this thing some nice 91 octane California special. Again, this thing was almost $100 to fill up. I cannot believe it. Okay, now we are definitely on our way. We're going to hyperlapse mode. And by the way, the camera that I'm using in this video is the Insta360 ONE X2. Very cool camera. It's an action camera. And the most notable feature of it is, of course, it is a 360 camera. So you can get views like what you're seeing here. So I simply suction cup it to the side window. That's how I'm getting this smooth in-car POV angle. And if you guys are interested in the exact camera I'm using in this video, I'll leave a link in the description below. And by the way, I should probably talk about where we're going. We're actually going to a monthly gathering called Easy's out in Emeryville, which is right next to Oakland, California. This happens every first Saturday of the month. And again, this is definitely the go-to for air-cooled Porsches. And the very cool thing about this event is it's kind of discreet. They don't publicize it. It's not really posted anywhere. You can't really find out about it. It's all about word of mouth. Okay, we made it to our exit. Let's go ahead and get off the freeway and onto the surface streets, which by the way are super bumpy in this part of Oakland. And zoom back into some hyperlapse again to get to the actual destination. And here we go. This is it. This is in front of Pixar Studios, which is right around the corner from where the actual Easy's event is held. And here I make a left-hand turn onto the actual strip or the road itself, and this is where the action is. And for this event, it was a little bit busier than usual because you can see that I'm going to have some trouble finding a parking spot. And by the way, the namesake of this event is this building right here, which stands for European Auto Salvage Yard. And here you can see my homie Jeff checking out the car. And this is the end of the strip, and I have to make a 4-point turn, block some traffic, go back the other way. And by the way, I woke up at 8 a.m. to go to this thing on a Saturday, and I'm the type of person that likes to sleep in whenever I can, which includes, of course, the weekend. I tried diving into this other parking space here, but it was blocking this doorway, so I ejected, turned the corner, went down the other block, and just found another parking space a little bit further down the road. Now it's time to make the hike back to the actual strip itself. But before we do that, let's take a good 360 walk around of the car. Again, this is a 1998 Arctic Silver on Black Porsche C2S. Let me zoom back to the event, check out the row of cars. Oh yeah, the other reason why I woke up early to go to this is not just the cars, but they have free donuts. I think I forgot to mention that. And here they are. This is what I really came for. It took me a little bit to decide which donut to go with, but I decided on the good old glazed. My personal favorite donut is just like the super boring, natural, like unglazed, anything donut. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's just like a very plain donut. All right, now let's start checking out some of the cars itself. This is a nice Martini livery car. Oh, I guess we are just gonna move on from that. Here's a very nice long hood car, and then we're going over to this very race. Okay, I guess we're not looking at that car. Okay, now let's check out this Polo Red 912. Super cool paint color. The camera actually does not do this car any justice because in person it has a very interesting raspberry tint to the paint itself. So a quick walk around. I was talking to the owner of this car, very interesting and knowledgeable gentleman. And here's a super clean, fully restored 356 in a Nardo gray sort of paint job. Everything about this car was super immaculate. Check out the split grills in the back. These were the first ones to do it. And here the quarter window is a polycarbonate vented version. Very clean interior, of course. Got the wood steering wheel, looks almost like a Nardi, I believe. The upholstery work was top notch. Everything about this car was just super clean. And boom, check out this nice white period correct 944. I was actually super digging this car because of its period correctness. Pretty clean interior, and then you have this oversized sunroof. I actually didn't know these 944s came with sunroofs this big. I kind of wish this car had white wheels so you can have that white on white Miami Vice sort of aesthetic. Maybe that's just me. And now we have this very track or race focused earlier model 911 owned by a member of our group. And I think our group was something that was started up here in NorCal. And then you have this nice drilled door handle a la Magnus Walker. And then for the wheels, you have the quintessential Fuchs wrapped in some chunky Avon radials. And then a very Singer-esque fuel cap that's mounted on the middle of the hood, which I loved. And now moving on to another very clean 356. As you can see, there are a lot of 356s and just earlier 911s in general. This one's also immaculate, very nicely restored, super clean gray interior. Black paint was also extremely nice, very high end. And yeah, these 356s are actually pretty small in person. I think they're about the same comparable size as a Miata. Now we're moving towards the 80s with this very clean silver 911 with some impact bumpers. You know I have a soft spot for silver 911s. Of course, you got some Fuchs again for the wheels. I dig these 80s cars, man. I'm not too much of a knowledgeable person, I guess, for the earlier 911s, like the ones that we just saw. But 80s and 90s, I'm digging it. And now we're moving on to this heavily driven brown 911, as evidenced by the dead bugs scattered across the front bumper. I think that's an IROC front bumper. Again, this one's also owned by another member of our group. I don't think I can even join our group because my car is too new. Oh, check out this wing window on the A-pillar. Has a cool vent on it. Moving along to the interior, we've got a nice brown motif going on and continuing inside. Nice and raced out. You can see the roll bar, and of course it's completely stripped out. A lot of stickers, another vented polycarbonate quarter window. Stop Asian Hate, that's what's up. Clean ducktail, some vents in the back. And now we're moving on to this orange 911T. Oh, I guess we'll skip past that. Some 80s car. Okay, now we're moving on to this Lido Gray 912. This is owned by Jeff, the guy that you saw earlier on as I pulled into the strip. And oh, what do we have here? Let's take a look at this thing. Ooh, is that a C2S? Yes, I actually moved my car around the block to that location. Okay, now let's check out another 356. I guess I was really feeling the 356s today, or there just were a ton of them. But the thing I liked about this particular 356 is it was actually a little bit more original than the other ones. You can see some patina, as you'll see in the front fenders in just a second, right around here. And you got the big old bumpers. This one's pretty original looking, very unmolested, as you'd say. And now we have a green 911, another long hood, short wheelbase car. There's a earlier model, of course, I believe a 68 or thereabouts. I think that's a Momo wheel inside. And oh, there's a 911L. So these earlier 911s came in 3 different flavors, 911T, 911L, and of course 911S. I believe the L was the mid-pack of the 3. And here's a red 911 SC. You cannot go wrong with these cars, man, let me tell you. These SCs are actually still the best bang for the buck in terms of air-cooled Porsches. Very interesting interior, it has some tartan, or is that plaid? Or are those two the same things? I have no idea. Wood shift knob, got some cocoa mats on the floor mats. A lot of tan going on inside. Guards red exterior, of course. Pretty staple for these 911s. And we're out. Event's over. And there's my buddy Thompson and his E46 M3 following me. Let's go back home and get some food. But unfortunately, on the way back, we got stuck in some really bad stop-and-go traffic for like 30 minutes to the point where the car was actually getting a little bit warm. Not overheating or anything like that. Usually the temperature gauge stays right below the middle mark. But in the stop-and-go, it's actually getting a little bit above the middle mark. Still not bad. all because of this accident that happened in the left lane. You can see some dude actually lost his wheel into the freeway. And again, on the way back, we stopped at this little plaza to get some food. And here's my car next to Thompson's. Of course, my 911 is very OEM plus looking, very stock looking, nothing too fancy. And Thompson's E46 M3 is very modified looking, as you can tell. Nice raced out, inspired type of look. Super sick gold BBS wheels with some two-piece Stop Tech brakes and some extremely raced out Recaros. I can't believe he actually drives this car with those seats because they sit very low and very tight. You got the white roll bar in the back, a CSL trunk, and there we go. Show's over. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this trip to Easy's, and I'll see you guys next time here on Core and Balance. Peace out.